Fox 17 Morning Mix. Holiday season, you spending some money? If a budget is the foundation of sound money management, why is it so challenging to establish one and stick to it? MSUFCU Chief Marketing Officer Deidre Davis is going to share some ways to get back to budgeting basics in 2022. Hey, Deidre, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us this morning. I can't believe you're going to bring up the topic of a budget 2 weeks out of Christmas, because everybody is spending money left and right? What's the value?
That's right.
Why is it important to have one?
This maybe can help people keep in line.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? I mean, but nobody likes to hear it like that, you know? I mean, what's the value of having a budget? I mean, is keeping them in line doesn't sound like too enticing.
Right. No, you're right about that. So if you think about a budget as really just a plan for using your money based on the priorities that you have identified. So it's all about doing what you want to do, but making sure you do it in a smart way. So basically, it's a tool that will assist you in identifying what's most important to you and then help you set financial goals and incorporate those into a budget so that you have, at the end of the day, smarter spending choices that you've made.
I tell you what, I was avoiding budgets and budgeting for years and years until I wrapped my mind around the fact that it kind of gives you permission to spend, right? Because you know that you can spend this money because you've set aside that money in a budget. So how do you set one up? What's the first step?
Yeah, so the first thing that you want to do is prioritize all of your monthly spending. So look at your necessities and your wants. For example, your mortgage or your rent, your car payment, utility bills, those need to be paid first. And those are necessities, of course. But then something like dining out weekly, while it might be something that you want to do, it's not a necessity. Cooking at home will feed you just fine. And then you want to subtract out those expenses from your income so that you know what you have left. And then from there, you can identify those various financial goals you have and add those into your budget. That could include saving for a down payment on a car or a home. It could include saving for a vacation. And then you want to adjust any of your spending plans if you need to reduce expenses or think about adding income.
I love that automatic transfer. I got to be honest, I do that myself a little bit each week. You hardly even notice it. And then half a year later, you're like, hey, get a nice little nest egg. What about financial goals? Like you were just mentioned, saving up for something, maybe a vacation or retirement. How do you incorporate those into a budget?
Yeah, so you definitely want to correlate your budget with those financial goals based, again, on your priorities. So for an instance, you could determine when you want to make a purchase or spend money on a specific or particular item and figure out how much you'll need. And then based on that information, you can set a savings plan that will help you reach those goals. And like you said, using an automatic transfer, say, for example, your paycheck comes in on Friday, immediately have some of it automatically transferred to a savings account. You won't miss it. And like you said, whether it's a half year later, 3 months later, you'll really be amazed at how quickly it adds up.
Yeah, it's neat. Every little bit, every week for me. And so now let's keep people in line, right? How do we stay in line? I mean, it's great to set one up and you've got it, but there's got to be some type of strategies out there to help us stay on budget. How do we stay on it?
Yeah, so a good way to help maintain your budget is make sure that you have an emergency fund set up. And so that basically is having cash on hand that will cover any kind of unexpected expenses, because those are what will typically derail someone's budget. If you don't expect that, a car repair, maybe the battery dies in your car, and especially in the middle of winter, that's a problem. And you could have unexpected medical costs. So start yourself out with about $1,000 as an emergency fund, and then build that up over time to 3 to 6 months of expenses. And then when those things come up, you'll just have the funds available and your budget will stay on track.
I got to be honest, it's something that I was able to do. It took a bit of time, but you're right. Once you have that set aside, that little nest egg, it's a great cushion. So when you have those emergencies, So how does MSU Federal Credit Union offer to help? Tell people how they can connect with you.
Yeah, so our mobile app is really great. You can see all of your different accounts. You can, like we talked about, automate that transfer into savings. And then we also have a variety of different both in-person and virtual seminars about financial education topics, including budgeting, credit, and so much more. And those can help you really get a grasp on your finances. And that, again, will help you to a better financial future.
Perfect, Deidre. Thank you so much for the vital information and for the tips. Once again, you want to learn more, just head to MSUFCU.org.